to high school, students and parents, class of 2020. My name is Mr. Goulet, Peter Goulet. I'm the Director of Guidance. And this is, you can introduce yourself, please, Gentili.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Gentili. I'm the other guidance counselor here. I usually have the first half of the alphabet, so.
Yeah, the alphabet will fall probably around the L's or Z's. I'll have the latter end of the alphabet. So I just want to start out with what it takes to get a diploma from Blackstone Millville Regional High School, and what the credit system is versus the core classes you need to take to graduate. So to graduate, and this is a little inaccurate for the class of 2020 due to the Common Core and Mass Core, the changes in the curriculum. So you need 4 years of English to graduate from high school. You now need 4 years of math to graduate from high school, and you must have algebra, geometry, and advanced algebra. Has to be 3 of those 4 years. Your fourth year can be anything if you want it to be. Yes?
Before I write all this down, did the paperwork that come home, is that updated with the updated stuff?
I think, so the paperwork you came home has both.
It was a booklet? Oh, it has
Yes,
both?
it has both. It has,
Okay.
so for the class, for this year's class and next year's class, this is the standard. Going forward after that, the new standard is 4 years of math. That only changes 4 years of math.
Okay.
And I see maybe coming down the pike 4 years of science, coming down maybe in 3 or 4 years as well. But of course, if that does happen, this class will be grandfathered as the past 2 classes have been. So it's 3 years of science, 3 years of social studies, 2 years of foreign language, and the thing about foreign language, it has to be the same language. So if you start with French, and I have a student who wants to do this, and she wants to switch to Spanish, she realizes she has to go Spanish 1 and Spanish 2 to get her diploma. 1 year of one and 1 year of another doesn't cut it. The good thing about this, though, is that this is the standard to get into a Massachusetts State College. So if you do the bare minimum, that's the standard for the bare minimum of a college in Massachusetts anyway, so it lines up and you got what you need. 2 years of phys ed and wellness, 1 year of technology, and then you have 6 electives. One thing that's different in the high school, that's very different from the middle school, and I don't know what you call it in middle school, this is my first year here in Blackstone. I come from the Boston Public Schools, and in Boston we call it social promotion, where you don't really pass the 7th or 8th grade, but because you're older, they just push you along. That stops when you get to high school. You have to earn credits to be promoted. So if you don't get 5 credits after the end of your freshman year, you don't get promoted to the 10th grade. You stay in that 9th grade. Now, let's say in that formula, you passed English 9 and you only passed English 9. You're not going to repeat English 9. You're going to move forward with a curriculum, but you're going to still maintain 9th grade status. And that goes on for 10th or 11th. To become a 10th grader, you need 5 to become a 10th grader, 11 to become an 11th grader, 17 to become a senior, and 24 to graduate. And I don't like to talk negatively, but if you break that down, 24 credits allows you to basically be unsuccessful in 1 class per year and still graduate. So kids sometimes see it that way better. So you have 4 classes you can be unsuccessful in. So if you are unsuccessful in 4 classes right away freshman year, now your back's against the wall, and you got to pass everything until you graduate. So that's really important. Anything else you want to add about the curriculum and courses of graduation? Did I miss anything?
No, that's perfect.
I'm going to drive this discussion straight from the guidance webpage of the district, and I think that's we designed the website so that this can be really the machine that you need to go to get to anything. And that's why I'm using it. If you need to email either one of us, our email addresses are right here, and you can do so. And I actually already received some emails, and we appreciate getting those. The course catalog, the book that you're referring to, and trying to save paper. So we gave your students this. I'm sure all of you have seen this. It's also online. It's online as of today in Spanish and Portuguese as well. So a new thing that we added to our program of studies this year is the hyperlink. If you find yourself really bored one night and you want to see where we get our curriculum from in regards to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the State Department, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, you can go straight to the Massachusetts frameworks for each of our Carnegie unit classes, English, math, science. Foreign language doesn't point you to the Massachusetts website because Massachusetts doesn't really have a common curriculum. So we point you to the national standards for world language if you ever want to see that and see how the curriculum and where the curriculum comes from. That's there. Does anybody have any questions about the book and the classes that are offered at all? I mean, I'm sure you all went through it. Yes.
With the path that you have from 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, how accurate is it going to stay this way with foresee budget cuts or whatever? I mean, what's the average change?
So that's a really good question because sometimes there is change and we're going to experience that next year. So the change is not that you're going to lose a whole entire class, like for example, calculus. You're not going to lose calculus, but you may lose a level of calculus because the students, as they rise through the 4 years of high school, there's different levels of cognitive ability. And sometimes one year, there's a group of 20 kids who can really maintain an advanced level of a course. But the next class coming up, the numbers are flipped. So we wouldn't run an advanced level of calculus for 4 kids.
So basically, you're basically going to choose by the level of the kids, their ability, which classes to offer, not to offer.
We're going to do that as a partnership.
Well, I know
yeah.
that, but I'm just saying.
Right. There is flexibility to move within levels, if that's what you're asking.
Well, no, I'm asking if you know, because when we look at the booklet and I'm saying, okay, this is a great path for you to go, I want to know, is he going to go that path, or, is this going to get cut, and then where does it go from there?
I mean, I feel pretty comfortable, especially with the core classes.
Yeah.
They've actually maintained relatively the same because there is that continuity and alignment with their framework that I don't foresee anything, dropping out to hinder anyone. If anything, I think we would just develop something new to offer for the students that would be something similar
Right.
of value to the students.
Yeah,
So no,
you're not
that-
going to see a core academic course go away.
For the APs, obviously,
Well, that'd be an initiative too, but with budget cuts, what do you always see leave a school first? It's not a math class; it's an elective.
And with our APs,
Sadly,
And with our APs, we're part of this new program, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, Math Insight. So right now we're actually getting grant money to support more of the APs through books and teachers' PDs over the summers for APs. So we actually have that going with us as well, so.
Yes.
I saw on there that it said that they have to pass an MCAS, English and math,
Yes.
but is that gonna go to Park? And
No, it is not. Our governor.
aren't
vetoed
those
that.
optional, you can opt out of those?
So yeah, that's a really good question. So just to bring some clarity to that, Governor Baker, when he became governor within his first 100 days, got rid of Park for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. However, what they did do is decide to revamp MCAS. MCAS has been the same since 1999. The test really hasn't changed. So they're in the process, and we're talking about an unknown factor, but they say by 2017, MCAS will become MCAS 2.0, and it will be a new test, redesigned that we have no idea what it even looks like yet. So for your students, I anticipate MCAS 2.0, not the MCAS as they currently know it, but that's all we know. And they need to pass math, English, and science. And when we we'll talk a little bit about science because it's a little tricky, but that's a really good question.
So
And
will
as
they
far as your
all-
opt out,
Yeah. Will they be able to-
as a parent of a young kid who is in a different school district, I actually have my letter of opt-out to give to his school principal because I don't believe in the Park test. I don't think it's a good test for students who have ADHD or I just don't I don't buy into it. And I'd rather have my kid learning. So there is a letter online, if you Googled it, and I did, and I took the letter and I'm asking the principal to create an instruction environment for my student. I don't want him in the library reading a book for 6 hours. I want him to be taught. And it's a very professional letter, it's respectful, it states, I respect what you're doing and you're doing a good job for my students, but in regards to this test, I don't believe in it. And he'll be happy. I'll get an extra hug for that.
So when this class comes up, I mean, the current kids have to pass MCAS, get a certain score for
It's
graduation purposes.
40, it's 240 just so.
So that hasn't changed. There's
No.
still going to be a standardized test
Correct.
that our students have to take. So we are, you know, this 8th grade class has to take parts this year. I'm a teacher. MCAS 2.0 is going to be part reincarnated with the name MCAS and some other thing. I mean,
And it
that's
may.
all that's going to happen.
And it probably may.
So if these kids don't take part and get exposure to those things, their chances of passing the MCAS 2.0, also known as Massachusetts Park version, they're going to be at a distinct disadvantage. I mean, I hate formalized tests, but I think it's going to prepare them for what's coming for graduation requirements. I'm just saying. They're just calling it a different
No,
name.
I mean, and that's true. That's true. We're all parents, and we have, so either way that we want with that.
Yeah.
But I would tend to believe you're probably right with that 2.0 test. Yes?
As freshmen, are there only options for electives, phys ed, and a foreign language?
So you get, it's a 7-course schedule throughout the day. So English, math, history, science, PE, foreign language, that gives you 6. If you're band, you're big band people, boom, that's your 7. If you're not in band, you do get that opportunity. After your first 2 years where you complete that foreign language and phys ed requirement, again, preparing you for that state school, it opens up your schedule a lot more. You get those 2 opportunities back. Maybe take a 3rd year of foreign language. There's robotics, there's other opportunities down the
So
road.
you really don't have electives as we're thinking of electives till your junior year?
Yeah, I mean, well, band, the kids do take that too, but yeah, I mean, some kids have opted to take a PE later on, but a lot of times they'd like to get it right out of the way, because then a lot of times the kids come in and you stay with your peer class for the first 2 years versus, maybe your junior year, you'll be in with some freshmen or sophomores, and no, I want to stay with my class,
So we encourage your students right now to sign up for an elective, or even put in a guidance note, if I can't get into robotics, manufacturing, a 3rd option might be this. Because the way we schedule the school, just so you have a big picture of how scheduling works, what we're taking from you right now is data. We're not promising, well, for you guys, we are promising everything's going to run, but for like a senior or a junior, if only 4 kids want robotics, we're not going to run robotics, because we can't have a teacher teaching 4 kids when there's 13 empty seats there. So that class wouldn't run. So the data that we're getting is to know, 1, which classes we can and cannot run, and how many sections of a class we need. So if we have 80 kids signed up for English 9, we know we need 4 sections of that class. So that's how we build a schedule going forward. So I ask for your students to give us electives in the guidance notes section of it for more choices, because when we do sit down with the schedule and the master schedule is all complete, we schedule our seniors before we schedule anybody else. It's just a right. They get the electives they want first, then juniors, then sophomores, and then freshmen. So if I know what 3 or 4 areas of the curriculum that your student is interested in, that helps me to say, oh, there's a seat here, let's give it to them, without any, communication or callback. But that's one thing that you will get from me and from Ms. Gentili is the communication back and forth before the first day of school, because I really want freshman schedules to be tight and ready to go. That's important to me. Yes?
Yeah, now, do they get any feedback from their current teachers as what level of course they should be taking?
So teachers right now, and I know they just put grades in, so they're inundated with putting stuff into a computer right now. But they have the same window opportunity that your students do to suggest what levels the students are suggested to be taking. Yep, go ahead.
I was actually gonna say, and the 8th grade teachers have already, I think the window has just recently closed, so if you were curious as to
And we
what.
kept it open until the 20th.
Oh, we're keeping it
Yes.
open, so, if you want to say, oh, hey, what did you recommend? That would be a great place to start too, if you have any questions, or you can contact us, we have a meeting with them to make sure we're, these are the expectations, these are some of the data points we find for success in these levels and courses. So you can talk to them or feel free to contact us as well.
We, just so you were clear, because I know I had a freshman parent this year after first quarter come in and say, I thought CP was above advanced, because when I was in high school, CP, college prep, was the highest. And you know what, quite frankly, when I was in high school, college prep was the highest. And actually now, college prep is the lowest. So it's important for us all to know that. So when your kid comes home with a schedule that says CP, you're not thinking that's the highest class they're in, because it's actually not. And we want to make sure that they're placed in the right place. There are a few mistakes that were done where we had kids that were in advanced courses and they were just recently signed off an IEP in June and they went into advanced courses and there was a big gap there. And I had no idea the kid was even on an IEP because there was no record brought to us and wasn't tasting success right away, and we found out why. So I want to make sure we have those conversations with parents. Yep.
If they're recommended for a certain level class, so whatever your things are.
Yep.
And then they start the first week and realize it's above their head, are they allowed to drop?
Yes.
Would you recommend starting higher and dropping down, or realizing you're too high for the class and going up?
We can do either way.
Which is allowed?
We can do either way.
Okay.
And sometimes it's not a cognitive decision in regards to ability. Sometimes, and I'm just being honest and frank with you, it's a antics thing. I'm in the class and there's about 9 students who just aren't taking this thing seriously. I am. I may not have that cognitive ability to be in advance, but I'd rather work harder than have to fight for my education in the situation I'm currently in, if you see what I'm saying.
And I always advocate maybe even trying that higher level class. You get that rigor, you get to see if you're able to stay with it, and also if you start CP and you're finding it too easy, you don't want to be behind that 8 ball. Also, someone earlier was talking about the specific pathways and tracks. If you start off in that advanced pathway, for instance, if you start in that Honors Algebra 2, your end pathway is that AP Calculus, which is really, really important. So if that's your end goal, look at those pathways they were referring to earlier, which I think we'll touch upon during the rest of the presentation. If your kid, I know I already want to be an engineer, I know it's early, but it's important to make sure what path you start on and where you end is just so valuable. So if you're able to be in those advanced level courses, that is more important. But again, with that being said, also being appropriately placed is so important because we don't want any kid drowning, and we want to make sure that they're getting the most out of the class without overextending themselves. So.
And that's where the communication piece is going to be really important between you as a parent with your child, but also you as a parent with us. We really want to have that honest conversation so that your kid is in the right place. And we have the first 2 weeks of school complete open windows to be able to do that, and even extending a little beyond that if the circumstances are, eventually that window has to close, but we can be flexible on a case-by-case basis. So the levels start with CP being lowest, then advanced, then honors, then AP, just so we're all on the same page. So you have the book. The one thing I want to jump to right now is science. Science is, it took me a while to understand our curriculum here. So science is a 2-year pathway, freshman and sophomore year, for biology to prepare you for the MCAS. The science department here has asked teachers at the middle school to place students who have an 85 or higher in science, currently in the middle school, into the advanced biology class, which means they will have 1 year of biology and then take the MCAS after freshman year. If they don't have that 85, if they have between 80 and 85, but they have a strong work ethic and can work really independently, that doesn't mean without a teacher. It just means at a fast pace and try to discover answers through reading, then we will put them in the advanced biology class as well. Other than that, there's the CP, you'll be in the CP level, which is a 2-year path. You'll take biology 1 freshman year, biology 2 sophomore year, and then sit for the MCAS. So that's really the only different curriculum area in our school that has a really kind of funky, different pathway. Is that clear? Anybody have questions about that?
So you wouldn't suggest honors for 9th graders?
And so the honors course is for the department here has asked the teachers, those really high, strong science and math kids who know that they may want to go down a STEM pathway in the future, or they just really love that science and math and they excel in it, then that would be the honors track. And again, a teacher can recommend something, student can recommend something, but the door isn't closed for us to have a conversation. And if we need to bring the department head in from the science department into that conversation, we can do that. And I want to make sure that communication is really, really important when we're doing this design. And then you want to explain? I mean, I just did, but and that's so. Yeah, there's the CP Bio 1, CP Bio 2 pathway. Then there's the Advanced Bio pathway, Honors Biology pathway, and the classes that follow it.
And if you notice here too, that honors bio for freshman year, this would be that AP for your sophomore year as well, so just so you can kind of see the different pathways.
I'm going to show math.
Yep, the pathway.
Yeah, we're going to show the math pathway. So if your student is currently taking Algebra 1 at the middle school, they'll come to us taking Honors Algebra 2 as a freshman, which students, other than that pathway, they won't see that till their junior year. So this is for a really student in math that really accelerates. And then they'll take geometry sophomore year to get all the information they need for their class. Does anybody have any more questions about the curriculum or the credits or the leveling? Is that a hand? I thought I saw one. You were right in line with the wall, and I was sure if it was a hand or the wall.
In regards to the electives that are half accredited, do they pick both of them now or wait until the second semester?
That's a very good question. So if they're choosing an elective they're interested in and they see that it is a half semester, then they should choose another half semester course to marry that to. Now the curriculum doesn't have to marry. You don't have to do robotics 1, robotics 2, or whatever. You know, you can do photography. You can. That's totally fine. And you can put 2 more half years, or you can put a full year in the notes column if you want as well. And again, we can't promise that they're going to get that because of the upperclassmen and how it trickles down, but we'll do the best we can. And if they don't get an elective, they'll get a study. And for a freshman, sometimes that isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world because they're transitioning to high school, which is a really complex thing to do. Socially, emotionally, academically, it's really, it can be very difficult. We check in to do a temperature check with our freshmen that first month of school a lot, to make sure they're okay. Yes?
How does the study affect GPA? How does GPA and all that work here?
So study, you don't get credit for it, and it doesn't affect GPA at all. You only, GPA only affects the courses that you take. And it's not on a 4.0 scale, it's on a 100 scale right now. So your grades come out as an 85, a 95, whatever it is. And if it's, because of the weighted part of it, you know, we have students that have 103, 104 GPA, even higher.
But if you don't take a class, it doesn't go towards your GPA either.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. It's a wash. And then seniors are allowed to. We don't encourage it, and to take 2 studies if they want. We don't encourage it. If there's a seat somewhere, we throw them in it because this is school. This isn't the mall. You know.
You take 6 credits, that's the expectation.
Yeah.
So 2 studies is a devil's playground. No.
Exactly.
But most of the kids are great. They actually want to take classes. I have kids who are like, can I have a full schedule? I go, sure, no senior crib. All right, take it. They're looking, you know, I want to be as impressive as I can for college, so it works out pretty well.
Has anybody, yes, go ahead.
The history class, for
Yeah.
Path 1 and Path 2, are they both the same? US History A is listed as both, so no matter what, you just sign up for US History
Yeah.
A?
Every student is taking U.S. History A. It's unleveled. It's U.S. History. It's
Okay.
the easiest thing for me to schedule.
Okay.
It just is what it is. And then after that, there's a lot more. The doors open up for you to take a lot of interesting history classes. It's not the same as when we were in school. U.S. History 1, U.S. History 2, World History, and then nothing. Or there's a lot of really interesting history classes. We're gonna move from here to the cafeteria because we have some students in about 5 or 10 minutes. Talk to you about the elective classes. I asked Mr. Ju, who's the director of our technology department, he's right here in the back, to come in and address those elective questions for you because those are too wide a range of things and they can talk to you about that more. But I do want to do a couple more things here. The selection sheets are on the back of those books. They're here if you need them. It's kind of like that old school style of doing, because now it's all online. So they're not really necessary to be filling out, but I think sometimes it's good to have that visual there as well on the book and to do something register online. Has everybody been able to get online? I know we've had some technological problems and everybody's okay?
Not yet.
No?
If you email us, we'll definitely look into that. I know I asked the students in 8th grade, I said, oh, do you guys log on to X2? Do parents log on to X2, parent portal?
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's
So
the data we got, because a whole mess of hands went up, they said they log in, but so we just assumed it was their username and passwords, and we realized quick, it wasn't, it was y'all's.
Yeah. So that's what we'll be creating. Students, we did go ahead and show the video tutorial of how to select your classes.
Do parents want to watch that video, or it's online, but it's like 3 minutes long, we can watch it here. Chelsea's voice is really good.
No.
It really is.
But that is a tool for you. They did see it already. It's pretty intuitive to collect it. You go and you pick your classes, but oh God,
All right, so we are going to talk about selecting and requesting courses for your upcoming year. When you first start out, you want to head to the BMR High School homepage, which you can go right ahead and type in www.bmrhs.com. And this will bring you to the homepage.
This is the old website.
The students will need to access the
And the
X2
new website still
themselves.
works
Do
the same
not
way.
use the parent portal. Sometimes that happens. So in order to do that, the students will go to the Students tab. They will drag all the way down to My BMR SD. Click on that link. This will direct you to a new page. At the top, it'll say My BMR SD. Click on the link, Students. Scroll down to X2 and click on that. This will bring you to the X2 homepage. Here you will go ahead and enter in your student ID, which you should have already received. Enter in the username and password and click Log On. Once that opens up, you want to click on the tab My Info. Then you want to scroll down to the bottom left and click on the tab Request. At this page, you will see every subject area represented. Also, you should have seen what your teachers have recommended to you. We went ahead and cleared this student's schedule out, as we have already made her schedule, but you can go ahead and pick the courses you prefer. You always want your core courses, English, math, science, and history. You can go ahead and pick your foreign language, PE, or any other electives that you need to fulfill the BMR graduation requirements. For the student, you can click on English, click the tab Select, and we're just waiting for a pop-up window to appear, and here it is. For every level, the courses that you are able to select should be noted for you. Since the student is a junior going to be a senior, these are the courses that she is eligible to take. If you're a freshman, your courses will look a little bit different, same for being a sophomore or junior. So I know the student is interested in taking multicultural literature, so I'm going to go ahead and click, as if I were the student, multicultural literature, and then click OK at the bottom. Once you see that, you will notice that the request has appeared on the main screen. I'm going to go ahead and select the rest of her courses for her. I click on Select under the Art subject area. Click the course Advanced Ceramics. Checked it off, so I'm going to click OK. I know she wants to take video production, so I clicked on the Tech tab, checked off video production, click OK again, and then I'm going to do the same for the rest of the courses. Then at the bottom, if for some reason a course wasn't appearing, or maybe a course was requested by your teacher and you weren't interested, you can go ahead and write a note for the counselor to see. For instance, the student wanted to know if they could take street law. So I'll go ahead and write, I was wondering if I could also take street law. This will notify the counselor that maybe we need to make an override or see if we can switch something in their schedule to hopefully make this work. After your notes have been put in and after you've selected all your courses, on the bottom left, you want to click this post button. Once you click that post button, your counselor will be able to see it on their end of X2, which will appear differently. Other than that, you are all set. You should look forward to having a meeting with your counselor if you are currently in the high school and talk about your schedule there. If you're an 8th grader, you can have your parent call or you can email the guidance counselors up at the high school and they will certainly help you out. Other than that, good luck and hope we get your schedule for next year.
So I'm going to actually show you with the new website how to get to that.
While you prep that up, can I just talk about
Yes,
it?
please do.
So I just wanted to do a quick overview of some things that you may or may not know guidance actually provides. We do individual counseling, group counseling. We also have an adjustment counselor here. So someone who has a smaller caseload to work a bit more on social, emotional, behavioral issues. We also do a lot of post-secondary planning, whether you're looking to enter the military, the workforce, college. We're there for all of it. We're part of the Blackstone Valley Education Foundation. They are fantastic. They provide grants that our school can apply for, days for manufacturing days. They've provided us with internships. Our students have gotten part-time paid internships and actually received full-time paid jobs with benefits after the fact. They've been a great support of the school. We help you with the college search process as well as the application process. A couple years back, our school started implementing a software called Naviance, which the students will use for their 4 years while they're here. Oftentimes the freshman year, we don't really get too much into it for you guys. We have so much that you are getting into that's new, but we work on study skills through that. We work on interest inventories and personality inventories as the years progress, so you can kind of start that career exploration for yourself. My students here, how many of you know what you want to do one day? Anybody? All right, some hands, very good. For those of you who don't know, that's okay. My dad still says, oh, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. He's been a realtor for 30 years, so he's doing just fine and dandy for himself, and he loves it. But he jokes around about that all the time. And it also helps you with things. They have resume building, which we touch base upon. We have a partnership with Workforce Central, who actually came today for our juniors. We had a career fair. We had lots of businesses and services provided. Mr. Juba actually set that up this afternoon, and with Mr. Goulet. And Workforce Central came. They help. We have another connection outside of school where they help you with applying for jobs and dressing for success. So we work with them. We do a lot with that. Sports. Any sports people? I think I saw our AD here, Ms. Tosti in the back, our athletic director. Hi, Mrs. Tosti, wave to her. I wasn't sure, she'll be here afterwards to talk about that. Mr. Juba will be here to talk about some electives, but as you know, band, that's huge here with the Blackstone Millville, as well as a variety of other opportunities that we do offer. Let's see, I have a few here. We have yearbook, National Honor Society, we have a drama club, they do a play and a musical every year, Students Against Destructive Decisions, our student council, actually our student council president was the president of the Massachusetts Association of Student Council, which is phenomenal. He's graduating this year. It's very sad to see him go, but he's done a lot there. Future Business Leaders of America, we offer that. They help run our school store from buying to inventory to selling. So there's a lot that does go on here for students.
We have a Republicans club and a Democratic club, and they actually get along. So to show you how to get to the portal, you can go to the MRSD website, and students, you do it two ways. You go to the Students tab and go straight to X2 login, or you can go to the high school website, Charges Guidance, and at the bottom on the right, there's a link, whoops, let me get there, to ask in there. Okay? Anybody have any questions? Please email us if anything pops up, if you have any question or concern, email us here at the high school and we will get back to you. Okay? Mr. Juba and Ms. Tosti, you want to transition to the auditorium with your students? So if you would like to get more information at this time, once they get over there on electives or the sports that we offer here at the high school in MIA policies, they'll be in the cafeteria for you. And if you have any individual questions you want to come up and ask us, we'll be there as well.